Hey everyone, I haven't done a video for a while. I've just been for my morning sauna and stretch and workout, what have you, and meditation, of course. And I just felt really like making a video because I've shared a lot of things in terms of like nutrition and health tips and things like that over the years, and I just wanted to share an insight that I've had recently on that as well, because when I was last with Tom Barnett, there was four of us there. We were all pretty passionate about health, and we all had a decent conversation. And Tom said something that really made a lot of sense to me. And I'll get to what he said in a minute, but basically, he put me on to the guy who introduced him to like raw meats and things like that. And I've been watching a few of his videos and trying to get his book. His book's pretty expensive and hard to get hold of. His name is, I'll put his name in this because I can't pronounce it, Arjunus something. Arjunus or something his name is. Fascinating story. You know, he's nearly dead at 21 and basically healed himself through raw foods, raw meats and raw fruits and vegetables. I don't want to talk too much because I haven't actually read his book, but the insight I got is that on one level it actually all makes sense. Okay, it makes sense that whatever we get told, the opposite's truth. I've always said that. It makes sense that the raw natural world is full of bacteria and enzymes that help the body digest. I've been a big, I've shared many videos talking about how we need to get rid of parasites. And he's the opposite. He says parasites are good because parasites help break down the waste in the body, right? There's logic to that as well. But the insight that I've got is that it's very hard to give nutritional advice because everyone's in such a different mental, spiritual, and physical state, okay? A different vibrational state, different beliefs. This all plays a part in our health. You look at one thing that Tom said, which really resonated with me. They were talking about taking vitamin C powder. Someone was saying it's very good. And Tom said it depends where you're leveling up from. Because in the conversation, it came up about somebody who was like an alcoholic. And they were ill. And I've heard stories like this where people are like literally dying. And they may get a drink because their body's been starved of alcohol for a certain amount of time after being dependent on alcohol for so long, and they get some alcohol and they basically start feeling okay, right? And then somebody like that, for example, you could give supplements to, for example, like vitamin C or whatever, and they may feel incredible. And what Tom said was, it depends where you're leveling up from. Right now, I just got so many insights from that, because that's a great point. If your mental state, and they're all one, by the way. So if your microbiome is off, it will affect your mental state. If your body's sludgy and poisoned, your mental state will be unstable. So you can calm the mind and make the mind healthier by healing the body, but you can definitely do it the other way around as well. So what I got from that was, let's say you're vibrating, your thoughts, your wavelength, your beliefs and your spiritual practice is vibrating here, right? Then introducing, but you're still not feeling 100%, okay? You still got issues and whatever. You might have the raw meat diet, for example, right? And it might level you up. So you go from there to there, now you feel amazing, right? And it may heal some of your issues. But let's say you're a spiritual practitioner living in the Himalayas, right? And you're doing spiritual practice all day. and I'm talking like high level spiritual practice, and your mentality is cultivating bodhicitta, so that you are bringing in highest frequencies to save all sentient beings, right? And then you get introduced to raw meat, it might bring you right down. You might get violently ill from that. So it's all about finding out what's going to level you up. Because even when I watched a video of a guy who was a breatharian, and the way he explained it was beautiful. It made a lot of sense. He said, we're energetic beings. So not everybody can just stop eating food and start living off breath. But if you can get the body finely tuned so that it can absorb and use the subtle energies of the breath, of prana, because prana is fundamentally energy, okay, the breath. You can live off that. Your body can sustain that. But it's like putting pure, refined petrol in a tractor, right? It's not going to work. It's two different motors, two different engines. And even though we're all humans, right? Someone who can genuinely live off air, their body is different completely than someone who's been living off coffee, Red Bull, sausage rolls and stuff like that. Their body is different. Their whole inner environment is different. Their microbiome's different. They probably get violently ill, not violently ill, but they probably wouldn't be able to cope for a certain amount of time with no food. Okay, so it's all about leveling up. And I'm sort of over giving nutritional advice, because I never wanted to in the beginning. I never shared nutritional advice for ages, and then I started sharing nutritional advice because I realized how much people like that. People like to, people can't put their awareness on serving others while they feel like rubbish. So if someone's feeling like shit, they can't actually go out and help anybody else, or they don't feel motivated to. So I realized that people are so sick and so unhealthy that they need to heal themselves first. That's why I shared some nutritional stuff. But somebody who, for example, is ready to take on a certain diet, which might be raw fruits and vegetables, or might be raw meat or whatever, they might watch one of my videos where I'm talking about taking magnesium powder, and they might go, mate, that's just not good for me. And they're right, okay? They're right. It's funny because I've always taken like magnesium powders, and I've shared a lot of things. I don't take much of them anymore. Now I'm a big fan of detoxing the body. I definitely work well off charcoal, activated and normal homemade charcoal, okay? Charcoal's really good for me. I really enjoy taking charcoal. But I do understand that we're mainly bacteria, and we need bacteria to have a healthy body. But before I go down that road, you will feel completely different if you have a genuine spiritual practice. I'm not talking about sitting down focusing on your breath. If you align with the universal process, if you put your mind on serving others, Master Shah's been teaching this for years, and Master Guo taught the same thing. They say, focusing on others, you don't have to worry about yourself. You try and enlighten the world. If you try and enlighten the world, your intentions will enlighten yourself. You're not doing it for you, but it's just how it works. If you serve selflessly, nature will look after you, because nature serves selflessly. So when you look at, I'm going to do a little video series called Movement to Stillness. And if you look at like one of Master Shah's mantras, which I've shared many times, Master Shah shared with his students for years. He said, in the future, if you have no food, this is the highest practice to do. There may be no food in the future. This is how to accumulate the essence and nutrients from heaven, earth, and everything else, the Tao. Okay, you are absorbing the essence of heaven, earth, humanity, and so on and so forth. But when you do that practice, you do it for the benefit of all beings. You invite all beings to do it with you. So these are powerful practices. I have experienced this, and I reckon people will as well. When you start doing practices like this, what you want to eat will change. Okay, you'll start to just maybe crave certain things, but you'll be more in tune with what the body needs. So to wrap this up, because I don't want to keep it too long, don't think one diet's right and one diet's wrong. Don't be attached to being a vegan. Don't be attached to being a carnivore. Because, as I said, you could be drinking or on drugs, and you might take a supplement that takes you out of that. And that might not be the end result. Your healing journey and your diet may take many twists and turns, but for now, it's got you out of a lower vibrational state. You look at what the Buddha taught. The Buddha said, used an analogy of carrying a boat. He said, to get across to the other shore, because we're in Master Sha's teaching, he says, Mother Earth is a polluted place. Ego, fighting, competition, and anxiety, hatred, anger. So he calls it the bitter sea. We have to get out of the bitter sea. The Buddha said you have to cross to the other shore. We're on the shore of suffering. We need to cross the shore and get to nirvana. So he said we need a boat to get across. That boat is spiritual practice. In the Buddha's term, it's the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path is a way out and across to the other shore. But when you get to the other shore, you have to drop the boat that got you there. Okay? Master Sha gives us calligraphies and spiritual practices. These practices will get us out of the bitter sea, but at some point they need to be dropped. Everything needs to be dropped and completely detached and aligned with the Tao. So look at that same analogy with nutrition and diet. You might be a cigarette smoker, and you might take something that gets you to stop smoking, right? But don't attach to this, because once you get to there, if you think, mate, that saved me from smoking cigarettes, I want to go to the next, I can't go to the next level because I'm stuck here. You've got to drop that. It's like my mum right now. My mum won't listen to anybody. She's got it in her head that she needs radiation treatment, and she's going ahead with it, right? Even though radiation treatment is one of the worst things you can put in your body. But what her mentality is, she's like, Nick, I got radiation treatment, I think it was about 10 years ago, maybe, something like that. And it's given, or 10, 15 years. It's given me another 10, 15 years. So if I get that again, I'll be over the moon, right? This is her logic. But she had radiation treatment. If it was 15 years ago, she was 15 years younger. Since then, since this cancer's come back, she's had 2 or 3 more things cut out, and now she's getting burnt again with the radiation. That to me is not a good way to live, is constantly getting things cut out and things burnt off. And that's fair enough, because a lot of people are in this situation. That's why I'm sharing it. And it's my mum. I love her more than anything in the world, you know what I mean? But she whether it's through fear or just their logic, it's all good, but she sees that it got her to here and give her another 15 years. She can't see beyond that. She's attached to that. And I'm just using my mum as an example. She needs to drop that and move beyond that. But you know, that's up to me as well. That's my mum. So that's why every spiritual practice I do, I include my mum. Try and do spiritual work for my mum, even though I'm on the other side of the earth. But you get what I mean. That's an example. We have to think, okay, I've started taking magnesium powders. It really works for me. It's really good. And that's okay. But always be open to more health, okay? Does the idea of processed food make sense? Well, if it doesn't, stop having processed food, see how you go. I have cut out bread, right? Any type of bread, whether it's organic, whether it's gluten-free, whether it's, you name it, it's gone. I don't eat bread anymore. It's been a game changer. So just always keep experimenting. And don't try and push a diet on anybody, because you don't know where they are. If someone's up here and you're pushing a diet on there, because that diet, when you did that diet, you were there. So you went to that diet and felt great. But somebody's up here and you say, mate, you got to go on this diet. They go on that diet and they come down and they feel like shit. So it's all about where you're at. And the mind plays a part. The emotions play a part. Your spiritual standing makes a difference, okay? So spiritual practice is there to uplift our frequency and vibration, which will uplift our mental clarity. Keep what you see clean. Don't bring polluted things in. Don't speak polluted words. You want to go on a detox? Detox from complaining and judging. Try that. This is get rid of news, get rid of newspapers, violent movies, get rid of all of that. Okay? Keep the information clean and do spiritual practice. Put your focus on saving others. The soul will enlighten. Okay? The heart will open. The mind will be more flexible, not so rigid. Your physical body will be more healthy. I'll keep everybody posted on the video series I'm doing. I'm also doing that cancer series. I want to get some material for that pretty soon. I've just been so busy at this time of year with work. So I love you all. Take care. God bless.